I welcome this opportunity to maybe clarify the intent of the original water use and development plan, which we worked on. One of the goals was to identify these sensitive and non-sensitive areas. And what came out of that was the primary focus on the most sensitive areas were the Hualalai aquifer sector, and of which the Keauhou aquifer system is part of, and the West Mauna Kea aquifer sector, which is the Waimea aquifer system. And part of the reason why the sensitive areas were sensitive areas was because of this, I guess it's a light yellow color. Right, that's considered urban expansion based on LUPAG. What urban expansion means is not defined as residential, not defined as commercial, but where the general plan envisioned development to occur. What kind of development is still undefined? Okay, but we used one of the theoretical maximums in there, probably 10 to 15 units per acre. What that already is probably somewhat conservative, right? Because 43,560 square feet to have 10 units there, it's like 4,000 units per square foot units for single family. So that's almost like probably a mid-rise kind of building on all this yellow area. So on top of this, we're going to focus in on the hot spot, which would be I guess it's close to the K2K plan. Yeah. So this is Kailua town area. Again, you can see there's kind of like a blob as far as the area that we're studying. But these parcels have water connections to it. So somehow they're in the grid and they're somewhat accounted for. Although not fully developed, there's a meter there that goes to that land. Okay. This blue crosshatch is what we're calling the authorized planned use. So these are areas where the county has some kind of water agreement, development agreement, water credit, or some of them are actually parcels, vacant parcels that have a lateral coming to it, but they gotta still get building permit before they can put a building on it. This is with the authorized plan use that we've compiled from planning and water departments on how much more is committed. But that doesn't mean committed means is going to develop instantly. As you heard, it'll probably be something more like this. Yeah, and then of course sustainable yield up at 38. 2010, we feel that the 2010 water use and development plan did serve its purpose, maybe more so than we expected, but it identified the sensitive and less sensitive areas. A lot of attention, obviously, on the sensitive areas. And, this is part of the reason. So you can see where we're coming from, but we also identified non-sensitive areas. So those would be not ignored, but monitored, kind of on the back burner. But most of the spotlight is going to be on the sensitive areas. Much of the area, this particular study area, is already served by the department. And that's where got to be a little bit careful because we don't want to double count. I mean, that would be the obvious thing that happens if you go with a full build-out scenario and you say, oh, we're using this much water, but no, let's add this on top of it. As you can see, it's not supposed to be added on, but it's supposed to be kind of refocused and seeing how we're using the water and then add on to that in whatever development occurs. Existing use and authorized plan use added together is currently about 20 MGD. That's back to this slide. That's the authorized plan use. And then the initial data that we've been collecting, primarily meter data for different use classifications. And we're focusing on residential and agricultural use, even though the Department of Water basically always provides potable water, right? They don't provide non-potable water. But as far as how the meters are classified, there's a way to track how agricultural lots are using water. And what we're finding is that they typically are falling within normal planning number ranges. So, the numbers are falling in so far within reason, and that's what we trying to kind of expand, you know. Like I said, obviously, I don't think the county wanted us to do this for the whole island in this level of detail, because is very time consuming. But for this sensitive area, that's what we've committed to do.